So you've probably heard all the buzz about this new way of coding with AI, right? Everyone's talking about it. But what does it actually mean for those of us in the trenches building real, serious software? Well, let's break down this huge shift from just messing around to creating a structured, professional AI workflow. This quote from the incredible Andrej Karpathy, it just perfectly nails the spirit of something called vibe coding. It's this super tempting idea that you can just, talk to an AI, tell it what you want, and poof, an app just appears. It feels like magic. And really, that's what vibe coding is all about. You use casual, everyday language, and you let the AI figure out all the nitty-gritty details. Now, if you're a hobbyist hacking something together over a weekend, this is a game changer. It totally democratizes building things and lets you experiment at a mind-blowing speed. But, and this is a big but, here's the trap. What's absolutely revolutionary for a quick prototype can be an absolute nightmare in a professional environment. That easy, simple feeling, it hides some serious dangers when you're building software that has to be reliable, secure, and most importantly, maintainable down the line. This really puts the two worlds into perspective, doesn't it? For a prototype, vibe coding is all about that insane speed and just trying stuff out. But for a real business, that exact same process, that lack of rigor, is a massive risk. You just can't vibe your way to a production system that's handling, say, real customer payments. All this unstructured work creates a brand new and frankly nasty kind of technical debt we're calling AI slop. What is that? Well, it's code that looks right, it seems plausible, it might even run, but it's totally unverified and often has these sneaky little bugs. It creates a brittle foundation that nobody on the team really, truly understands. Okay, so if just telling an AI what to do isn't the right answer for professionals, what is? This is where we see the real shift happening in a developer's job. And let me be clear, this isn't about developers being replaced. It's about a massive evolution in the skills that actually matter. The developer's role is shifting. It's moving away from being someone who manually types out code line by line to someone who validates what the AI produced against the original business goal. The human is no longer the bricklayer. They're the architect and the quality inspector. And this right here, this shows you just how huge that change in focus is. In the old world, a dev might spend 80% of their day just implementing logic. Now the AI does that heavy lifting. So that 80% of human brainpower, it shifts to the much more valuable work of verifying, securing, and making damn sure the code solves the correct problem. So, to handle this new reality, we have to get away from the chaos of vibe coding. We need a structured, professional framework. So let's walk through the 4-stage blueprint for a modern AI-native software development lifecycle. All right, here's the roadmap. It kicks off with disciplined prompt engineering. Then it moves into agentic orchestration for the actual build. After that, we enforce quality with human-led code review. And finally, we validate the whole thing with AI automated QA. Let's dig in. First up, prompt engineering. Look, at a pro level, this is a serious discipline. This is not just chatting with a bot. You're carefully building what we call a context architecture. You're giving the AI every single constraint it needs: business rules, security policies, architectural patterns. Because the quality of the code you get out is 100% dependent on the quality of the prompt you put in. Next up, agentic orchestration. And this is where the game really changes. We're moving from passive copilots that just suggest a line of code to active AI agents that can build entire systems. Think of it like a whole team of specialized AIs. You've got an architect agent, a coder agent, a reviewer agent, all working together, reasoning, planning, and even fixing their own mistakes. This is the engine that unlocks incredible efficiency. But all that speed, it's totally useless if you're just driving fast in the wrong direction. And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most critical phase in this whole process. The AI can be the gas pedal, sure, but the human has to be the steering wheel. The human is the final quality gate. And here's why that's so important. We're living in what you could call the trust paradox. On one hand, everyone is adopting AI coding tools. It's becoming universal. But at the exact same time, our trust in what these tools produce is actually going down. How is that possible? Well, for starters, almost half, 46%, of developers who use these tools every single day don't actually trust them to be accurate. They know from experience that an AI can be completely wrong, but sound incredibly confident about it. And here's the result of that.
A whopping 2/3 of developers say they're now spending more time fixing the weird, subtle bugs that AI creates than they would have spent just writing the code themselves in the first place. That's the AI slop coming back to bite you.
So, the job of a human code reviewer has completely transformed. They're not just looking for typos anymore, no. Now, they're more like digital detectives. They're hunting for AI hallucinations, like code that calls a library that doesn't even exist. They're looking for security holes, and critically, for business logic drift, where the code works perfectly, but it solves the wrong problem. Okay, so that sounds like a lot of new work, a lot of new discipline. You might be wondering, why bother with all of this? Well, let's talk about the strategic payoff, because this is where a structured approach completely changes the game for a business. The big headline number is pretty staggering. Organizations that really get this right, that implement a mature AI native lifecycle, are seeing around a 40% reduction in the time it takes to actually build new features. That's a massive win no matter how you slice it. But listen, the most important point here isn't about cutting costs. It's about creating what we can call a strategy dividend. You're freeing up your most valuable resource, your developer's brainpower, to reinvest it in things that actually create a competitive edge.
You can see it right here in this chart. In the traditional way of doing things, most of the time is spent on the manual labor of just building. In the AI native world, that whole equation flips on its head. Now, the majority of your time and energy can go toward what really matters: better architecture, rock-solid security, and a beautifully designed user experience.
So, at the end of the day, adopting a structured AI native process isn't just some cool new thing to try. It's really a mandate for operational maturity. It's the difference between running a hobby shop out of your garage and running a high-performance digital factory. And that really leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. As AI becomes more and more a part of how we all build software, you've got to ask yourself, is your organization building a disciplined, efficient digital factory? Or are you just creating a whole lot of AI slop? Because the answer to that question is going to define the winners and losers of this new era.